This video will introduce you to the main divisions of the nervous system. So the nervous system can be divided into two main subdivisions. We have the central nervous system, or the CNS, and we have the peripheral nervous system, or the PNS. Now the central nervous system, as we'll see on the next slide, goes down the center of your body. It's your brain and your spinal cord, which we'll come back to later on. And the central nervous system is going to process information, is going to interpret information, it stores information, and then it takes all of that and it issues orders to our muscles, our glands, and our internal organs. The peripheral nervous system is everything that's out in the periphery. So everything that's outside of that brain and that spinal cord, its main job of the peripheral nervous system is to transmit information away from the central nervous system and bring information back into the central nervous system. So that the two main divisions of the nervous system are the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. So again, here we see the central nervous system goes down the center of our body. It's our brain and our spinal cord. So that central nervous system, or CNS, is the brain and the spinal cord. So the peripheral nervous system is all these nerves we see out here going out to our fingers, go out to our glands and internal organs, going out to our toes. That's all the peripheral nervous system out in the periphery of the body outside of the central nervous system. So it's going to connect the brain and the spinal cord to the rest of the body. So again, it takes that information out of the central nervous system and brings it back into the central nervous system. We have motor nerves, which are going to be connected to the muscles and start from motor neurons within the spinal cord. And we have sensory nerves that bring that incoming sensory information from sense receptors in our skin into the sensory neurons outside the spinal cord. So this should look familiar. This is that reflex arc that we've talked about previously. So again, just showing you we have sense receptors in our skin that bring information along a process to that sensory neuron. And so this is our sensory nerve. Then we have the motor nerve that takes information from the spinal cord out to our muscles. So sensory nerves goes from sense receptors in the skin to the spinal cord. Our motor nerves take information from the spinal cord to our muscles, our glands, and our internal organs. And here's just showing an example of a spinal reflex. So again, we talked about this previously, as how it's so nice that we can have that information come in from our skin and send a signal directly out to our muscles without having to wait for the brain to process and interpret that information. That allows us to pull our hand back from a hot flame and hopefully not get burned, to pull our foot back when we start to step on a tack. So those types of things are those spinal reflexes where a message, a copy of that information is sent up to the brain, but we react before the brain has time to process it. So the peripheral nervous system can be further divided into the somatic and the autonomic nervous system. So the somatic nervous system, think of it as more voluntary types of control, things that we're aware of, things that we're thinking about doing. Hopefully as you're writing down notes right now for this video, you're thinking about it. You're aware that you're writing it down. You're controlling those skeletal muscles. That's the somatic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system, on the other hand, is more automatic. So it's things that you don't think about very often. So when you walk outside, do you tell your pupils to constrict to let less light in? No, it just happens. When it's really hot outside, do you tell your body, please sweat some more? No, you don't. When you're exercising and your body needs to pump more oxygen to fuel those muscles, do you tell your heart, pump faster, pump faster, pump faster? No. Those are all very automatic functions, and those are under the control of the autonomic nervous system, which regulates our glands, our blood vessels, and our internal organs. So here we see the somatic nervous system is in blue. So, and we see it going out to all of those muscles, down to the tips of our toes, to our fingers, all the different muscles that it needs to control. It also is going to bring sensory information into the nervous system as well. Now, in red, we see the autonomic nervous system, and see how it's kind of sitting here nice and tightly close to that spinal cord where just going out to the organs that it needs to control. So the somatic nervous system controls the muscles, sends sensory information into the CNS. So again, it's more voluntary types of commands. The autonomic nervous system, think of it as more automatic. It controls the heart, the intestines, other organs, and again, it's more automatic or involuntary types of things. And now you've learned the first parts of the divisions of the nervous system, the two main divisions, CNS and the PNS, and the two main divisions of the peripheral nervous system, the somatic and the autonomic.